You guys, it's happening. We finally have changes. And they're pretty big, like they're substantial changes that would kind of change the way Kim plays a little bit. It'll make her more consistent. So, without further ado, let's admire our blessings. So she has a bunch of adjustment stuff, I'll go over it later, but I'm gonna just cover the big stuff, the stuff that catch your eye, the stuff that would change the game for Kimberly. So, first things being first is that heavy punch or heavy elbow can now be comboed into by the EX command grab, EX air grab. And why this is important and a very huge change is that she gets more damage. So your usual damage from a whiff punish will be something like that, which isn't bad. Like you use meter, use 1 bar to get that, and you can go into level 3. So that's not a bad route. You will still use that. But now you get this. And this comes with a bunch of options now. So she can either go for damage, she can go for her usual safe jump. She can now go for mix if you want to, the grab. Like all of that still works. She also gets that from it too, so she has a bunch of options now that she can exploit after this. So it opens up a bunch of new routes and a bunch of new stuff, and I haven't tested it fully to see what is the most optimal thing to do, but what's important is that you have more freedom of expression now. Like now you can do whatever you want from that because it's mid-screen and we don't see mid-screen mix-ups. So that's pretty much it for that change. It's really huge. It's gonna give her more damage mid-screen, and we're gonna cover the next big one, which is anti-airing with Tatsu. Now in the beta, Tatsu, all her Tatsus were completely air invincible, so she could anti-air anything and with ease just using any of the Tatsus. But what they did is it's not completely air invincible, but they moved her hurt box down. So when she starts the animation, her hurt box is lower than it was before. So it makes it easier to anti-air characters like Luke, Ken, even Cammy. Like if she hits you with a dive kick, say she does this, you could not anti-air Cammy with a regular Tatsu before. It was very space specific, but now it works pretty consistent. It changes this matchup because it's a bit slower now, especially with another change she has, is that she can cancel the grounded EX Tatsu into level 2, which gives a good amount of damage. That's like what, 1/5 to 1/4 of your health. Pretty good. That's a pretty good change. We're eating off of that. Like you will see me use that a lot. It changes some of her combo routes. Some of her most optimal like level 2 routes, she can now end the EX Tatsu, the EX grounded Tatsu into level 2, and boom, more damage. Plus they also added more damage to level 2. Instead of doing 2600 damage, it now does 2800. So that's another thing we eating off of. The 3rd and 4th hit of EX Tatsu used to do 180 damage each. Now they both do 200. So that's another thing we're eating off of. Like we really just got nothing but buffs this patch. So it's nice to see. Let's move on to the next big one, which I know we've all been waiting for. So fellas, now we have somewhat of a real wake-up option. Kim's level 1 has been decreased from 12 frames of startup to 10 frames of startup, which means most of the situations where you will wake up before and you will see your opponent throw out a jab and they will still have time to block it, her level 1 is now fast enough to where it'll hit now. In most situations now, there are some exceptions. If it's like really tight and it's a meaty jab, I found out that it still won't hit in time. But for the most part, most situations can now be covered with level 1. So we're eating off of that. Also, another level 1 change, she can now choose to use a can or not on her level 1. And this is big because the one without a can gave you Oki. Mid-screen or even the corner, you would get Oki from it. But you would have to wait until your resources are low. Now, you can choose to either use a can or not to. The way you use a can is you press stand light kick, or you hold any kick button, and then they come out. But by default, it doesn't use a can, which is what most of us want, by the way. They also said in the notes that the drive damage that level 1 does stays the same, doesn't depend on the can or not, which is, we take that, it's like not too big of a deal. It would have been nice if, because you use a resource, you should get like more from it because you don't get Oki, and you would take more drive gauge, but the fact that that doesn't really happen, is the same, doesn't really affect us, so it doesn't matter. It's a buff, we taking it, we eat those. Also, another change with level 1, I've seen sort of clips on this where certain characters level 1 would go through projectiles. Now it no longer does that, and they changed this across the board for every character, including like Jury. Level 1 used to be on frame 1 invincible to everything. Now it's only invincible to throws and strikes, so jabs or whatever normal. Which isn't a big deal to us anyway, because level 1 was too slow to hit the startup of most fireballs, I believe. So it's more of a fix, not a nerf, because that's not the way it was intended to work. But now it works the way it's supposed to. And here's an interesting one. Arc Step. Now, Arc Step, she used to, at a certain time, she used to just do the stomp. Like, she used to get the kick. Now she kind of just runs forever if you hold forward, no matter if you're close to them or not. This is without me holding forward, and then this is with me holding forward. And I think this is for some of her Oki situations. I haven't ran across anything where this would be too important. I'm pretty sure it changes this a little bit. Yeah, it does right there. I just tested that. So that's another buff. It's unique, at least. Like, I want to see how that affects her Oki, or how it affects like matchups, or maybe like she can run through JP's fireball now, something like that. Let me know down in the comments what you guys find. And that's pretty much all for her big changes. Overall, I would say we're eating off of that. Now, as far as her minor changes, she has things in here like reduce pushback on stand light kick. I couldn't find a real like use or a specific situation where this would be usable. Maybe it's after crouch and medium kick, maybe, or maybe during the drive rush combo this would make more sense. Something, I don't know, we'll see in time. Stand medium kick gives more super meter from 500 to 700. Crouch and medium punch has less pushback and more damage, like 50 more damage. Crouch and medium punch now can, you can throw from this. Before you weren't able to, you were a bit further away. Like you would be like right here outside the throw range, so now you can do this. That's what that change means. Torso cleaver, this is an arc step is the up kick that's +1 on block. So they made it to where the up kick does more chip to the drive gauge, and they're trying to balance the risk reward, because majority of the time people know if it's not from crouch fierce, they can mash jab on it, so you never really see this. You mostly just see this all the time, and the only time you will be able to get this off is from crouch fierce, because that's like the only thing that prevents mashing without meter. So they're trying to just change the risk reward. It went from 4,000 chip to 6,000, and that's like another small minor change that we'll take. And that's pretty much it for all her changes. Let me know down in the comments if you guys found anything that's interesting with these. Like that run change I found was very unique. I wonder what Oki or combos even changed. Combos could be easier now because of that. I don't know. Let me know down in the comments, and I'll catch you guys next time I stream, which will be tomorrow. So don't miss it.